These things have been mentioned by Almighty Allah, and these are things that even a materialistic or a worldly person can be attracted towards. And this relates to a person who belongs to any faith or religion, so long as he respects moral values and he has a good nature within him that desires, that he wants morals, that he desires good things. A person of no faith, or an atheist even, will deem good morals as something good, and will say things which are good, and will call bad things as something which are bad. So thus, Almighty Allah says, understand this responsibility upon you, and for the sake of benefiting mankind, and for the sake of attaining Allah's pleasure, counsel towards righteousness, and prevent people from doing bad and evil acts. Draw attention towards discharging the rights owed to people, and to those who usurp the rights owed to people, dislike them and dislike their actions. And draw attention towards such good actions and prevent people from doing these bad things. But before doing all of this, as I have stated already, we need to assess our own selves first. It is only when we rectify and reform our internal state that will our words have any effect. And in order to rectify and reform our internal state, we must always keep this in view, that Allah can see my every word and deed. Allah can see every single thing that I do. That I must first teach the world with respect to worldly morals, and also explain the way of what is good and what is bad. And I must also preach towards righteousness and identify what is evil and then safeguard people from that evil. However, apart from this, I must bring myself in line with this commandment of Allah, that tu'minuna billah, that these people are those who believe in Allah, that is, those people who counsel. And belief in Allah will be true at that point, when the attaining of the pleasure of Almighty Allah and love of Almighty Allah take precedence over all other likes and all other desires. As Almighty Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Those people who are believers, their love of Allah is strongest, and they love Allah most of all. A person who loves something, he cares for that the most. So when you have claimed to believe, then love of Allah must be the strongest out of all other loves. And when you love Almighty Allah, then adopting the instructions of Almighty Allah becomes the most significant thing. So thus, when you assess yourselves, then you will realize that what the Khair Ummah, being the best people, entails. It does not just mean proclaiming that we believe. Just by doing this, this will not fulfill the objective. In fact, by increasing love of Almighty Allah, this will fulfill being the Khair Ummah for the sake of attaining the pleasure of the Lord. Counseling towards righteousness will be necessary, and to stop and prevent other people from performing bad things will also be necessary. It is only then will you be worthy of being called the Khair Ummah, the best people. When a believer makes steps forward, then a true believer will first of all reflect on this, that whatever I am counseling others towards, is this goodness found within me? This badness which I am trying to prevent others from performing, is this badness within me? So this believer will ponder that on the one hand, because of my belief, I claim to love Almighty Allah. And when you love somebody, then a person reveals everything regarding his inner state to such people that he holds as his beloved. The person who he holds as his beloved, he reveals all secrets to him. And Almighty Allah is such a being that is Alimul Ghaybi wa Shahada, the knower of the unseen and knower of everything. There is no need to reveal anything to him. He is aware of everything that is hidden and everything that is apparent. So Almighty Allah will say, on the one hand you claim to believe, and on the one hand you claim to love me, and on the other side, I, who knows whatever is in your hearts, I have looked within your heart and I am looking in your heart. You are not practicing what you preach. So Hazur says, this internal system of a true believer, it is this internal defensive system that will bring him to the right path. If he believes in this regarding Almighty Allah, that He is Alimul Ghaybi wa Shahada, that He sees and hears all. But there is a stipulation that a person must believe.